Yeah, let's
Yes.
start.
Hello, Kai. Hello, Batu.
Hello,
Hello.
Furkan. Hello, everyone. Hello, Kai. Hope
How is
everyone is well.
everything, Kai?
Everything is perfect. I'm very excited to be here tonight with you. So,
Thank you.
Yes.
Same as us. Exactly.
mhm,
Let's wait a couple of minutes for people join, and then we can start straight away.
sure.
Uh, Before we start, there is a very nice weather today in Tallinn. It's like I saw the like at 12 degrees, to 12, 30 degrees. It was like a haven for me.
Yes, that's unbelievable because it's not very common. I mean, I don't know how many people know something about Estonia, but this is definitely not very common here. So,
Yeah.
we have had a very warm winter this year, and the spring, it seems, is coming early.
Yes. Because of me, I guess, because I pray the God too much to be like warmer. That will be because of me or climate change. I don't know.
Because of you, of course. Forget about the climate change.
Yeah, forget about it. Yeah.
Yes, that sounds good. And also on Istanbul, the weather is was cool today. And
Hmm.
please don't jealous.
No, no.
Oh, no. Yeah.
So I think people start to come in, right?
Yes, yes.
Yes.
Actually, I think we can start, Batu.
Yeah, we can
Mhm.
start. So I'm starting right now. Hello, everyone, and welcome to today's workshop. I am thrilled to have you all here. It's Batu. I am one of the co-founder of Musical, and this is my first workshop as a moderator, so I'm a bit excited and not nervous that much. Before we dive into main topic, let me briefly introduce Musical. Musical is a platform dedicated to supporting the musicians and music students by providing to access valuable sources, courses, workshops, and opportunities to connect with professionals in the industry. Whether you are looking to refine your skills, explore new musical ideas, or discover educational pathways, Musical is always here to guide you on your journey. Today, Mrs. Kai with us from Estonia Academy and Music and Theatre. She's going to give us more information about the Cultural Management Master Program and degree. And also, I really thank you so much to Mrs. Kai for being here with us and sharing this valuable information with us. And if you are considering the advancing your career, the Estonia Academy of Music and Theatre could be the perfect step for you. Throughout this workshop, Mrs. Kai will be sharing more details about the program, the application process, and what to expect as a student at the academy. So
Mhm.
please feel free to ask a question at any time. We will take notes of your questions, and Mrs. Kai will be answering all your questions after presentation finish. And I will be more than happy to help you in any subject. And thank you for listening to me. And Kai, if you're ready, we can start.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Yes,
start.
I'm really ready. Thank you. Thank you so much for having me here tonight. So, yeah, if I could see my presentation, which would be
Of course.
helpful.
Yes, I'm
Yes.
sharing my screen.
Yeah.
Yes. Can you see it right now?
Yes, I can. Thank you. Thank you so much for the help. And
You're welcome.
Uh,
as
can you make full screen, Furkan?
Of course.
That will be much better for us.
mhm.
Yeah.
Yes, so I'm very happy to see you here in the very informal info session of the Cultural Management Program of the Estonian Academy of Music and Theatre. And I said, my name is Kai Kiev, and I'm the head of this program here, trying to introduce you to this wonderful program that we have. So let's start. The next, yeah. I have here the agenda just to show you what we are going to talk about tonight. First of all, we go quickly through some facts. I will introduce you to the faculty of the program. I'll speak a little bit about the curriculum design and how we organize our studies. And then we reach to the admission, which is taking place not every year, but in every 2 years. We'll go through the application process, and finally we also talk about these important things like tuition fees and scholarships that are also available. So let's start. The Estonian Academy of Music and Theatre is actually a small university. It's a public university. It's the smallest out of 6 public universities in the entire Estonia. Estonia is a very small country, as you may know, only 1.3 million people living here. And that's why we only have 6 universities. And even though it's a small university, it is the only music university in Estonia. And it's in our terms quite old because it was established already in 1919. So it means that in this September 2024, we were actually celebrating our 105th anniversary. And cultural management program, of course, it's not that old. It was established in 2002, but it has been here still nearly 25 years. And currently, it is a joint program with the Estonian Business School, which means that all the students who graduate from this program, they actually get the diplomas from both institutions. And luckily, also the institutions, they are physically very close to each other. So there is like 600 meters between 2 buildings. So studying in itself, it's very convenient for the students. And we have, of course, professors, teachers, instructors from both institutions, but also we have instructors from all over Europe, because we want to be in connection with the latest trends of cultural management, what is happening outside of Estonia, and having international faculty gives us wonderful opportunity to see what's happening in the rest of the Europe or even rest of the world. And then you are probably wondering, what is this thing like challenge-based learning? But it means that each student who comes to study with us should already have some sort of an idea or problem that they would like to solve. And then this problem or challenge actually becomes the basis of their studies. And in ideal, also you can develop it into your master thesis finally. I must say that we haven't gone unnoticed, because in April 2023, the Baltic Management Development Association awarded the Cultural Management Program a prize for broadening the scope of business education. So we are really proud of our program. And now let me introduce our faculty. Actually, we have a large number of people, 35 teachers connected to this program, which means that basically we have like a separate person for each subject that we are teaching. And roughly 2/3 of them, they are coming from the Music Academy side, and 1/3 is coming from the Estonian Business School. The faculty is very international, but I have brought out 2 people who are very important and meaningful for us. And the first one is Professor Annuka Jürämäe, who is our academic leader and also supervises most of the thesis work of the students. And she is also working at the Aalto University in Helsinki. So she comes once a month to Tallinn to teach our students. And the second person here is Kari Kitsak-Prikk. She has been connected to this program for a number of years. She's actually a graduate of this program from the very first batch. She's been a coordinator and a teacher and also the head of studies in this program. And now she is teaching also various classes, ranging from understanding the cultural sector to research communication. So these are the 2 most important ladies all our students are going to meet. A few words about the design of the curriculum and why this is important. Our curriculum is different from the curricula that is usually applied in Estonian universities. And different how? Because we have big modules, which are listed here. I think I'm not going to read the titles, but you get the idea what we are teaching. And each of these modules is worth 12 credit points except for the 8th and 9th, which are a little bit smaller. And inside of these big modules, we have subjects. And as if life wouldn't be, how should I say, easy enough, these subjects inside the modules, they don't have the same weight, but some subjects are more important than the others. But all in all, yes, it's a very flexible curriculum, and we can change it within the modules according to the needs of the students or their interests. And it makes studying much more interesting, I think. Organization of studies. I would like to speak about this as well, because in Estonia, it is quite a well-known fact that most of the students on master's level, they're not just studying, but also working in parallel. So all the universities, they have to take into account the needs of working people, which means that they have to adjust their schedules and their teachings according to the needs of these people who are working. So for us, it means that the studies begin at the end of August, when the academic year actually begins at the Estonian Academy of Music and Theatre. And we usually start our studies with a bit unconventional way, with a boot camp, which happens outside of Tallinn. And the boot camp, in essence, is nothing else than an intensive seminar of 4 days, where the new students get to know each other and they get to know the program. And since it's not in our usual surrounding, so it is more interesting and also more fascinating for everyone. But the rest of the academic year is divided into cycles, and each cycle lasts for 4 weeks. So the first week is intensive learning seminar, which is the most traditional, like in-class lectures or seminar or group works. And it takes place from Wednesday to Saturday, and that includes 1 day, which is usually Thursday, at the Estonian Business School. The second week is dedicated to the individual work, where you can work for your projects or complete your undone homework or whatever you want to do. The third week is actually for online classes. Again, the purpose for online classes is to have more flexibility for the people who are working, but also it enables us to incorporate the teachers who are maybe outside from Estonia. So the lectures usually, they're not so much lectures, but yeah, it takes place usually on Zoom. And the fourth week, then it takes place again. It's for individual work mainly. Yes, and then we can go further, probably. The next slide, please. Yes, but in our case, I didn't want you to get scared because we just don't have only studying, reading, and writing, and so to say the academic work, but we do a lot of other things. For example, once a month we visit the Estonian cultural organizations, and the aim of these visits is to see with your own eyes, to experience how a cultural organization works, what kind of challenges they face, how they overcome them, but also just to feel the atmosphere of a specific place and to meet the people who are working there. And in case you are wondering what is this funny looking picture, then this is actually a living testimony of one of such visits, because in spring 2024, we had the chance to go to Tartu. Again, I don't know if this name says anything to you, but Tartu is the second largest town in Estonia. It's a university town where University of Tartu is based. But in 2024, Tartu had a very important role to play because it was the European capital of culture. And it meant a year-long cultural program full of many, many different things, concerts, performances, exhibitions. And of course, when something like this at this extent is happening, at the same time, when you are studying cultural management, then you want to visit the organization, you want to know what it takes from the people who are doing it and who are they. So we visited the office of the European Capital of Culture. And in addition to the office, of course, there is another very important place in Tartu, which is Tartu Vanemuine Theatre, which is actually the biggest theatre in Estonia and incorporates all fields of theatre, from music to musical, ballet, and also drama. So it's a very interesting place for a manager to be. And of course, we had the tour around the house and ended up in the costume warehouse, as you can see. So that's where the funny picture is coming from. And on top of the cultural organization visits, we also do another thing, which is a morning coffee event on every Friday, once a month, where we invite the professionals from the cultural field to share their experience. And this is quite an informal meeting, which takes place in the form of conversation, and the students can ask questions. And I must say that the study visits and also this morning coffees, they have been very well received by our students because they give a lot of insight. And since, especially in the current group, most of them, they are international students, so it's also getting to know the Estonian culture, which is hopefully interesting for our foreign students. And in addition, we are organizing, can we go back just for a second? We are organizing a study trip to abroad in the beginning of the second year. And the aim, of course, is the same as in visiting the Estonian cultural organizations. So now we are visiting these organizations in the specific place where we are going. And for instance, in September 2024, with the current group, we went to Riga, the capital of Latvia, and saw a number of places there. But in previous years, the trips have taken us to Finland, of course, to Sweden, to Denmark, to United Kingdom, and once even as far as to Iceland. So this is all, I would say that this is not very common in Estonian universities to this kind of things, but we are doing those. And there is another thing that I would really like to underline, is that we fully understand that for the international students, it can be quite difficult and overwhelming to start their studies in a strange place, in a new environment. And that's why we have this support system, which is called personal tutors. So we are assigning to each student throughout the first year a personal tutor from our core staff, which means that all of them, they have once a month face-to-face meetings with their tutor, and then they are able to share whatever worries they have. And it doesn't have to be only about their studies, but it can be also about their, personal problems or whatever there is. Or if there are no problems, then we can just talk about the politics or weather. But anyhow, we just want to wish all our students that they would feel welcome, that they feel good, and that they wouldn't leave or feel left out somehow. And now we have actually come to the new admission. Like I said, we don't have the admission every year, but biannually. And now this year we are going to have them. And we welcome candidates with bachelor degrees from any field. It doesn't matter where you are coming from. But what does matter for us is that you have interest in culture, because that is essential in terms of culture management, of course. And we ourselves, we believe that this program is ideal for individuals with an independent spirit, open mind, and strong willingness to learn. So if I told you about the organization of studies, that how it maybe looks that you don't have to be sitting in the classroom that much, but actually it requires quite a bit of self-discipline and good time management to stay on track with your studies, even though you're not required to be in the classroom that much. Yes, and the applications for the international students are actually for everyone, also the local ones. They're open until the 28th of April, and the international students can apply via Dream Apply. And there is also an application fee of 70 euros, which you have to pay unless, otherwise your application is not just coming through. Yes, can we move forward, please? Yeah, and a few words about how does it look to apply. We have arranged it to take place in 3 rounds. The first round is easy. You do the online application, which you can submit via Dream Apply. You are supposed to submit there a motivation letter. It's just 1 page. We don't want any 10-page essays, of course. But however, it's a template with guiding questions that is, of course, available on Dream Apply, but also on our management homepage. So the second round sounds perhaps a little bit scary because it's called online exam, which is run through Google Forms. But it's not really an exam. So you're not expect to be tested, to not expect to know any fact knowledge, but it's you have to sort of solve like a case study or analyze a case study where we would put you in a situation and we would like to see how you solve it as a future culture management. So in essence, we would like to see how you as a manager would act or what are your analytical skills. So there are really no wrong or right answers. Just be yourself, the best you know to be. And this exam, so to say, is taking place on 23rd of May at 2 o'clock Estonian time. And it lasts for 90 minutes. And after this, we will have the interview round, which is on 4th and 5th of June, which is face-to-face for the local applicants. But of course, for the international applicants, we don't expect you to travel all the way to Estonia just to take a 15-minute interview. But this can also be done very conveniently on Zoom. Yes, and we can move on. I have just listed here, just to be clear, all the important dates and deadlines. So the admission period will last until 28th of April. The online exam aforementioned is on 23rd of May, admission interviews on 4th and 5th June. And thereafter, in case you were wondering, then we make public the list of admitted students by 10th of June. And then a week after, the newly admitted students, they have to confirm whether or not they will start studying latest by 17th of June. So that's easy. At the beginning of the summer, you already know everything. And now about tuition fees and scholarships, because they are also very important. So the tuition fees apply per academic year, and it's like 3,000 euros for the EU citizens and 6,000 euros for the non-EU citizens, which we fully realize is quite a lot of money, but very fortunately, the Estonian Academy of Music and Theatre is very generously supporting the studies of 7 students with scholarships, or actually they are like tuition favors, meaning that 1 student can study completely for free, and 2 Estonian students coming from the background of music and theatre, they can get 90% of their tuition fee off, and then 4 students are paying 50% left. And if you're asking that how do we allocate this the scholarships, then that's based on the admission results or rankings. But there is a good I would say, good news in this sense that life or the experience has shown that some people are more prone to do the admission, but maybe not so keen on studying later on, and vice versa. Some people who are not showing that much their strong sides during the admission, but they are very keen on studying. So we will revise the list at the end of the first year. And if you have done excellent job in your studies and being socially active, then there is a very good chance that if you didn't get the scholarship during the first year, you will get it during the second year. I think this is only fair. And finally, here it's the info on the academy or the cultural management program. The most comprehensive source of knowledge, if you want to know anything about the program, of course, would be the homepage. But we are very active also on social media. So we have our Facebook page, we have our Instagram account, and also we created recently the LinkedIn account. So I'm really encouraging you to follow us, to see what we are doing. And especially on Instagram account, you can see all the photos of the different teachers and short video clips, as they are on Instagram, about our trips to the organizations and abroad, and the other doings, even Christmas parties or everything what we are having. So please follow us. And you know what they say, that one word says more than 1,000 words. So, yeah. And if you have any questions, you're welcome to present them now, of course. But if you don't have them now, but maybe only good questions come a little bit later, you can always mail me. The address is here. And I think I am done with my presentation. And I hope that it was informative for you and interesting for you. And you are very welcome to join this program. And we would be happy to see you.
Actually, I love it. Thank you for your presentation, Kai. I love it. If I have a chance and if I have a time, I will definitely join that program.
You're welcome. Please.
Thank you for that. I really like that. So, guys, if you have any questions, time to ask all questions. As the Kai said, if you miss some part of the workshop, you can ask to Kai straight away from her mail too. So let's start it. So if not anyone started, I have some questions.
Sure.
If I want to join that program, there will be like an interview or something like that.
Mm-hmm. Yes, there is.
Interview. Yeah.
Yes, there is an interview. Exactly.
Is it like a 3-part of interview? So if you pass that part, you go into that part. If you pass the second part, you go into the third part. Is it like this?
No, actually, the interview is the last stage of the admission process. The first one is the application. The second one, like I told you, is the exam. And if you have passed the 2 first phases, and then the third and the last one is the interview. Actually, we are most probably going to let all the people who passed the online exam, they are also invited to the interviews. And the interview is just to get to know the person who is applying a little bit more personally, and to see what they might think, and what also some people have questions for us, which are very welcome, because it's always easier to ask them face to face, or even Zoom face to face, because it's pretty face to face. Then it's a good chance to get to know each other also. So it's not like an exam interview or something, but we just value each person that we are admitting. So yes, don't be scared of this.
Yeah, cool. Yeah, that's cool.
And also there is some questions. Maybe I can tell you.
Very happy.
The Hande ask, thank you for the presentation. Is the master's program a total of 2 years,
Yes,
right?
it is a 2 years master's program. Exactly. Yes, it is fully 2 years program worth of 120 European credit points, and the master thesis is out of this 30 points. So yes.
Okay, thanks for answering. And also the next one, could you please tell where your alumni are now? What do they do?
Mm-hmm. That's a very good question, actually, because I should have probably included it into my presentation, but we are very proud to say that nearly 100%, or actually 98% of our graduates, they are working in the field of culture. A lot of them, they are working in the Estonia, because most of the graduates so far, they have been Estonians, except for the recent classes where there are already more international students. And they are working in very different fields. They are working in public sector, but also private sectors. We have had the people working for the Ministry of Culture and also theater directors, actually, which is fantastic. But also people working for museums, and which is increasingly popular, that we have people coming from, for example, from the music field, who are still being musicians, but they would like to know more about managerial aspects or how to do self-branding. I mean, so that's also very welcome, that you are still being active as a musician, but you just want to know more how to manage yourself and your life. So it's quite a variety of areas. We are giving a broad education. We are not limited to, let's say, music or theater, but that's why it's called cultural management, because you can, with this kind of education, you can work anywhere in the culture. It doesn't matter whether it's public sector or private sector, or you want to become cultural entrepreneur, for example. That's also, for example, one of our graduates, he has an enterprise or a firm that is managing the receptions of the Estonian Independence Day, which are always annually celebrated quite lavishly and bigly. The president is there. So one of these, the main organizer of these events is our graduate, for example. So I don't think that you will have difficulties finding a job. What might be a bit difficult for the international students is that lots of places in Estonia, they require the knowledge of Estonian language. And of course, there is a possibility to study Estonian language while you are studying cultural management, but 2 years is perhaps not enough to manage to learn a completely new language. So that might be a little bit difficult. But then again, people, they come to study in Estonia and they go back home, which is also nice, because we are happy about our international alumni network. And in this case, if you go back home, not that we would want you to go, we would love to have you here in Estonia, because we are always lacking working hands and brains. So, but when you go, and if you go back home, then you, of course, you don't have the language issues, and I'm sure that you will find also placements there.
Cool. Thank you, Kai. And the other question from Carl. Thanks for your time, Kai. My question is, how the exam gonna be, and what would they ask?
So the exam, like I said, it's not really an exam. It's not a test. We are not expecting you to know any fact knowledge, but we will probably present you with a situation or a case study analysis. Like, let's say I am the organizer of a festival and there is a situation during it, something happens. What will you do? So you just need to analyze, and we would like to see that how much potential is there in you as a manager, because of course, organizing a festival is one thing, and the cultural management is so much broader field. But on the other hand, it is quite a practical field, and we would just like to see how you think, how you analyze the situation. So like I said before, there are really no wrong or right answers. It's not a law case study where you have to say that according to this paragraph, it happens and you go to jail. That's not our case, of course. yeah, so we just would like to see what you think and how you write. And yeah, it's I said, I mean, the word exam is not really the correct one, but we didn't know how to call it our way. So
Yeah, I get it. It just for like get to know each other, to ask
yeah,
some
yeah,
questions.
yeah, exactly. Yes, yeah, yeah.
So next question from the Barbo Beats, and so the interview will not be technical music. I think no.
Technical music, no, no, we're you're not expected to make any music. You are just expected to talk.
Cool.
Yes.
Cool.
Mhm.
And the other one is from the Ömer. Ömer said, as a student considering studying abroad, could you share some insights about the life and culture in Estonia? What are the
Mhm.
things you would definitely recommend doing there?
Well, compared to Turkey, Estonia is like really small.
Small
Uh,
but peaceful and nice.
mhm, yes, but we have our own advantages. I mean, in so small society. So, what would I recommend? As a cultural management student, of course, I would recommend to be part of as many cultural events as you can, because Tallinn, I mean the capital and where also the music academy is located, for a small city, I mean compared to the Turkish ones like Istanbul or Ankara, they are like tens of times bigger, if not hundreds times. But for a Tallinn has an extremely rich cultural life. So there is always something happening. There are, I mean, theaters playing. Okay, theaters are maybe not a very good example because they are tied to a language, except for the opera house, of course. But there is a lot going on. There are concerts, there are exhibitions, there are, yeah, you can immerse yourself into culture. There is a lot of art, and I would totally recommend to be part of it. And most of them is not even that expensive. And for students, there are always discounts. So you can get in, and the more you are here, the more you get acquainted to the places. And yes, that's would be my recommendation.
That's cool. I would like to say something about that because I live in Estonia
Sure.
in 8 months. I was born and raised in Istanbul. After coming here from like city in Istanbul, I really found this peace and like happiness, because there are no crowded. Everywhere is generally calm, and most importantly, there is no traffic. So when you want to go somewhere, when you want to do something, you don't waste too much time on the traffic to reach somewhere.
True.
That is the
That's
main
true.
thing,
Yeah.
actually. Yeah, that is the
Yeah.
main thing, actually.
Yeah, I know
Uh,
the traffic in Istanbul. So yes, yes. I
uh,
mean, it's not comparable even. It's very, very peaceful, very, I wouldn't say quiet, but it is less crowded, that's for sure.
yeah. Uh,
Yeah.
Yeah. Also, Estonia is a truly unique place to live and study, especially for musicians and artists. I guess the
Mhm.
country has a rich cultural heritage, combined with its modern, innovative spirits, and creates an inspiring environment for creativity flourish. So yeah, I think the best place to study in here.
Yes, yes. In this sense, I would absolutely say that it is a unique place in the sense that there is a lot of culture. For example, in the summer, we are going to have one of our big song festivals. Again, I have no idea if you know anything about this, but this is our tradition that has lasted for more than 150 years. And it means that in every 5 years, we gather people for song and dance celebration. And there is a choir comprising of 20,000 singers who are coming together. They have practiced this program for more than 2 3 years, and they come together, and there are like about approximately 100,000 listeners who go there and sing along. And it is a very nice event, and this is very specific to us because we Estonians, we love singing and we love choir singing. So if you have any musical background, then that's your place, definitely, even if you don't sing in a choir. But in Estonia you will start singing, I'm pretty sure. we have, for example, even in our management group, we have a girl who is from Tbilisi, who has graduated from the conservatoire as a jazz singer. And already in the first year, she was singing in the choir of the music academy. So be prepared. Of course, it's not mandatory, but if you wish, these are you have all these options to do things that you maybe are not doing back at home.
That's cool. And let's pass the next questions. Hande asking, additional to Ömer, is speaking English enough to live in Estonia? Do I need to speak local language at least
No.
a little bit?
No, you don't actually. I mean, Estonia, and I suppose this is something very specific to small nations, because we are not expecting, we would be really surprised, and we are still surprised if the foreigners are actually learning Estonian. And that's a good thing if they do, but you will completely and perfectly manage with English because everyone speaks English. And I don't think that there are any problems. There are probably even foreigners who are working here with very basic knowledge of Estonian. I mean, like I said, the cultural sector might be a bit different in this sense because it is tied to a language, but especially people coming to work in the IT sector or, yes, I don't think that this is a requirement at all.
Yeah.
Of course, it makes life easier if you learn 2 phrases in Estonian and you, but you will manage without this.
Yeah, as I saw, everyone can speak English like properly, so there's not gonna be problem to understand people. Also, I think the Estonian language a bit hard because I get my one A1 certificate. It was very hard to finish it, but I get it.
But it's very similar to Turkish, isn't it?
No, it's not similar, but the sound is similar.
Yeah, no, because I studied Turkish and
Really?
yes,
didn't know that.
yeah, I did, and then okay, I don't speak it, but because I haven't had any practice, and but still, I mean, we have so many similarities. We have even the same words in 2 languages, the same letters. I mean, this
Oh, yeah.
exactly.
Oh,
Yes,
yeah.
yeah, and the grammar. I mean, all the suffixes go at the end of the word. The cases. I mean, Estonian has 14 cases. You have less, but still, the logic is pretty much the same. So for an Estonian to learn Turkish, it was. I would say that was perfectly understandable. That was nothing like overly complicated.
Yeah.
There are, of course, differences as well. So I imagine that for a Turkish person to learn Estonian shouldn't be, I mean, that difficult, perhaps.
Maybe for me.
No,
For me.
doable at least. Yes.
At least, yeah.
Actually, I have some
Sure.
question,
Yeah.
Kai. Is it necessary to have a musical ear to participate in this program?
No. That has nothing to do. I mean, it's just part of it operates in the music academy, but no, you don't need any musical training for going to cultural management program. I mean, of course, if you want to study music in another program at our academy, then you need prior musical, not just ear, but also years and years of training. But for cultural management, no, there is absolutely no requirement to know any music as such. So,
All right, thanks for answering.
And the other question from Dilara. Dilara says, does the program offer practical experience such as applied projects, internships, or field work?
that is a very good question, actually. We officially do not require you, or we don't offer any internship places, and the reason why we don't do this is that most of our students, or at least the local students, they are already working in the field of culture, so they are daily basis doing something in some cultural organization, but we are offering them a possibility, especially for the next group now, to work together with the theater students. So they will be paired up and they will do some, because there's acting students, they act, but they don't know how to do the projects. So we put them together, and there is a program called Contemporary Physical Performance Making. And so we are collaborating with them. And so if you wish, you can actually work together with them closely. And let's not forget that the Music Academy, we have a very extensive season of concerts, and we are also hosting and organizing a number of festivals throughout the year. And there are always people welcome to join in. So there is a possibility to get your hands dirty. Absolutely, yes, if you want.
That's cool. And next questions from Sıla. If accepted into the program, do you provide a dorm or any housing options, or do we need to find a place to stay ourselves?
No, actually, what is good is that we have our own dormitory or students' residence, which we share with the Academy of Arts. Like I said, we are the smallest, and the Academy of Arts is a bit bigger than we, but still small. So it made sense to have a common student residence for only the art and music students. And you can rent a room there. There are different rooms there, like single rooms or double rooms or triple rooms. Of course, the single ones, and there are some even apartments, and these are a little bit more expensive. But of course, when you're admitted, I would recommend you to apply for the student residence immediately, because there are not enough places. And so it might happen that if you don't apply like immediately, then by the time you will arrive to Tallinn, you might not have a place. But on the other hand, what I see a lot from our international students, and there are a lot of international students at our academy, we have more than one quarter, like more than 25% of our students' body is international, means that even if they stay at the beginning in the student residence, so once they get a bit more, familiar with the surroundings and they already form the network of friends, then what happens quite often is that they rent an apartment, they share the costs, and so they move out of the student residence. But the residence as such is totally existing. It's relatively new, nicely renovated, good conditions. Yes. So
cool. The next question from Berfin. I didn't study music, but I'm really passionate about it. Will the program be beneficial for my music career?
How beneficial, I wonder. I mean, in cultural management, as I said, we really don't require any musical background. But then again, we are offering, there is a possibility if you want to take some lessons, let's say, in music history or I don't know, whatever there is available, then this is absolutely possible. You can take all the classes that we have in the academy, and most of the subjects or most of the curricula are dubbed into English, like I said, because we have so many international students. So you can follow all these courses as well. So if you want to develop your musical side somehow, I mean, by singing in a choir, for example, like it has happened already, or listening to the music history lessons, or we also offer some managerial courses for music students, by the way. So that's absolutely possible, yes.
That's cool. I think there is a micro degree about the music production and
Yes, there is.
arts.
Yes, there is. But
I will apply that one, by the way. I just saw your new website. That's cool. And second one from Doğukan. And Doğukan says, hello, I joined it later. No worries. So I apologize if I missed it. Doğukan, don't worry. And if someone missed it, we will share the presentation with you. If you leave the comments to musical website, to course website, we're going to share all the links and all the presentation with you. So no worries about that. So could you talk about the cost of the program for us? Is the master degree opportunity only available for music?
No, again, the program I was talking is about the management, and it's a master's program, 2 years. And the cost per year would be 6,000 euros for non-EU students. But as I also said, that there are 7 scholarships or tuition waivers available, and they will help you to manage the costs. And of course, on top of the tuition cost, you should have some money saved for living. But also what happens quite often is that even the international students, they start working somewhere. For example, in maybe even some restaurant. Our Georgian students are working in the Georgian restaurant, which is like 5 minutes walk from the music academy. And there are possibilities. And working as a student in Estonia, it's not just the field of international students. Estonian students, most of them are working. So it's a very common thing here. So don't feel put off somehow that you have to work. It's absolutely normal here. I have graduated myself from 2 master's degrees while doing full job at the same time. It is not easy, I must say, but it's doable. And so if I could do, you can do it as well.
That's cool. That's nice. And the other question is from Hande. If we obtain a visa as a student, do we also have a work permit during the education?
Yeah, that's absolutely, I'm proud to say that's a very good thing in Estonia, that while being on a student residence, not visa, when you come with the visa, but then you apply for the living permit here, and then as a student you don't have to apply for an extra working permit. It comes along already with the student residence permit, so you can work. It's absolutely allowed, but provided that you do your studies, because if you use the studies only as an excuse to start working, then that unfortunately doesn't work, because the universities, they really have an obligation to announce the police and border guard if the students do not do their studies and they do not appear into classes, and then the residence permit will be revoked, and then unfortunately that's the end of it. But if you are able to do both of them, then yes, you do not need any extra permit. And there is another good thing, is that after the graduation, this permit is still valid for another 6 months or even a bit longer. And the aim of this is that to enable the foreign students who want to stay in Estonia to find the job. So you are not kicked out of the country immediately after you graduate, but you still have quite a lot of time to find the place where you want to work. Or if you are working already, then you can change it into a proper working permit. So because Estonia, we are very interested to have the students, the foreigners who have studied with us already. They know the culture, they know a little bit of the language, they know the people, and we are very looking forward to have these people with us. So I think the universities have done everything in their power to keep these people, because we know you already.
Yeah.
And you know us.
Cool. Is it allowed to like a full-time job or part-time? It doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter. As long the most important criterion is that you are able to do the studies also full-time.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Cool. Is there any more questions? Yeah, Barbara.
Actually, there is I think last questions.
Again from the Barbara Beats, and this scholarship opportunity is great. How will scholarship students be selected? What should we do to gain this opportunity?
No, you don't have to do anything. I mean, except that being good, excellent in their admission process, and we will give grades to the exams. I mean, to the exam and to the interview. So there will be a ranking based on these grades, and the first 7 people of the list, they will get the scholarship. So it's fairly easy, and not easy, but I would say very clear, the principle, how we assign it. So it's based on the admission ranking, but as I also said, that the list will be revised at the end of the first year, because maybe some student who got the scholarship doesn't study, or they take academic leave, or something happens, or they just don't do the studies that well, because we have seen it. And there are some people who are studying excellently, but maybe the examination or admission pressure was just too much for them. But they are very capable students in academic wise. So at the end of the first year, we will revise the list, and we will allocate the scholarships for those people who have better grades and who have shown, social activity as well. So we take into account everything in this sense.
Cool. Nice. Is there any questions?
There isn't actually right now.
That's all.
Well,
cool.
that is. I wouldn't say surprised, because I knew that Turkish people, they would be much more active, because a month ago I did this the same similar info session here in Estonia, not for Estonian students, but there were foreigners as well, probably from neighboring countries. And when I finished the presentation, then nobody wanted to ask anything. So
Yeah.
so,
yeah. Luckily, we have more questions. Yeah.
Exactly. Yes, I'm very happy to see that people are asking, and yes.
Hope they can join the program too. Yeah, I think that's all. So, thank you all for joining today's workshop. I hope you found the information valuable and inspiring. Also, thank you, Kai, for informing us and being with us in this workshop. Hope we do more workshops with you in future. We really want that as a musical team. And so if you have any further questions or need the guidance, don't hesitate to reach us. And you can reach Kai, Furkan, Berkay, and to me whenever you want, because we are online like 24/7. So yeah, and don't hesitate to reach out, and wishing all the best on your musical journey and all careers. And thank you.
Yes, and thank you on my behalf as well for being here, for being interested in Estonia and in our academy and in cultural management program. And yes, welcome to Estonia.
Welcome to Estonia. Tere.
Thanks for the presentation and joining us, Kai.
Hiçbir şey değil.
Appreciate that. Teşekkürler.
Rica ederim.
So, see you in the other workshops then.